Hey guys, so on Instagram I did a poll on videos that you guys wanted to see. One was infertility and the other one was, what was the other one? What I eat?
Morning routine.
A morning routine. And surprisingly, most of you guys said infertility. It was like a variety of people. It was male and female and of all ages, so I thought that was pretty interesting. I'll probably do a lot of the talking, but Nick is just chilling out right here. He's hungry and moody, and obviously this video is not his favorite to film, so we're just gonna roll with it. I record on my phone, so I can't see like questions that people send in through Instagram, so I'm just gonna try to remember. And also, if this is like a scattered video,
I could log in on my phone, right?
I guess we could, but yeah, maybe we'll do that. But infertility is a very like confusing thing, so if the
Write them down.
video is all over the place, that is why. You look so excited.
Could write down your questions.
I did yesterday. I remember the top 4 that people kept asking the same thing. So I guess we'll start off by like explaining how we found out we couldn't have kids. It was like 2 years ago, and I went in for like my regular pap smear appointment. Females are supposed to go like every year and get checked out, and he asked us if we were interested in having kids and stuff, and we explained to him how we haven't used any protection or anything for like a year, and I haven't been pregnant, and I have been pregnant before I was with Nick, so I just figured like, hey, there's something wrong with me. And so he's like, well, are you interested in taking further tests to see if it is you, so when you do want to actually have kids, like all your ducks are in a row. So originally he asked me a couple questions, and he thought that I had PCOS, right? Yeah. So PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome. That's a long word. So that's also another form of infertility where females don't ovulate, and if you don't ovulate, obviously you can't have a baby. And so then I had a HSG test, I think is what it was called. It's when I go in for a procedure and then they shoot dye into my tubes and stuff to make sure everything's clear on my end. And so I did that, which was extremely painful, by the way. You get the results right then and there. My doctor said, hey, everything looks good, so how about we test your husband a little bit further. And backstory a little bit back to when we went to the appointment, our doctor like jokingly said that like he saw a couple that came in and they thought all of the issues were her, but it turns out it was him. And we're like, oh man, that would suck. And we just like never thought that would be us. Do you remember him saying that? Like it never crossed our minds. So anyways, we got Nick into an appointment. I don't remember how long it took for you to go in. Was it like a month or 2? I think it like took 2 months. He went for a semen analysis, and they like check your count, and
I think it was only
a couple weeks. And
but you can't come for like 5 days or
something like that. People who watch this video are gonna be so,
or what?
It's definitely
Ejaculate. You can't ejaculate.
And we didn't get results for like months, and so we were getting really anxious. Nick, what did you think when you were getting a phone call? You just assumed nothing was wrong, or did you think like, hey, it is probably me?
I don't really.
You don't remember?
But our doctor did go on a vacation. He did tell us that.
Oh yeah, he did go on vacation, but it was still like 2 months. So then I called and I was like, hey, I haven't gotten the results for my husband's test. Like, I was just wondering if those were in or if something happened. And she's like, yeah, your doctor wants to talk to you directly. And I was like, okay. So in my mind, this could go one of 2 ways. It could be fine, and he knew we were anxious, so he just wanted to like talk to me personally, or it was gonna be terrible news. So then he called and he was like, I'm so sorry to tell you that like your husband isn't producing semen. So I was like, well, shoot, all right. And he's like, but I have faith that I'll see you in this office for initial OBGYN appointment in the near future, whatever. Like, he was very confident that we could get help, so he just referred us to people. After I got off the phone with the doctor, I called my mom because I was just like heartbroken. Not more so because we couldn't have kids, but because for a female, when I miscarried, I was like, what's wrong with my body? Like, how come this happened? Like, you just feel like crap. So for a man to have those issues, like, my heart just broke, and especially since I love Nick so much, I was just like, how do I tell him this? How is he gonna handle it? So my mom's like, it's fine, like, just tell him, he'll understand. You need to be there for him because he was there for you, etc. And it's kind of neat because I'm adopted, and so my mom was like, hey, like, you can always adopt. My parents also had infertility issues, which is why they adopted, so I feel like I've kind of gotten close to my parents by going through this. So I told Nick I got the results, but I refused to tell him what the results were until he got home. And I think he kind of already knew at that point what the answer was because I want to tell him. Didn't you? And so he got home and I told him. He's very upset about it, obviously. So it's been a long road for the past, like, 2 years now dealing with that, learning how to cope with it. We took, like, I think, like, 4 months off before seeing our fertility specialist, didn't we?
Stressful.
Yeah. Well, you just didn't want to jump into things. Like, you need to, like, collect
Mentally
yourself.
prepare yourself.
Yeah. So then we went in for that. And first of all, we did not like her. Let me tell you something, guys. If you feel like someone is not treating you like they treat all their other patients or aren't trying their hardest with you, just, like, don't see them anymore.
She was too pushy.
She was very pushy, and she was like, you're young, so we're not going to do all of the normal steps or give it all to you. Like, if we're paying 50 to 70 grand to do this, like, our point of view is you better be doing all you can, like, if I'm paying for it. So that was where she put out, she's like, you can only do IVF.
Do all the options that are out there either. She's like, I will only do these ones with you.
Yep. So you can do IVF, you can do IUIs, you can do birth control and stuff. There's so many ways to try to get pregnant, but she went straight to IVF without even fully reevaluating everything. She's like, this is what we're gonna have to do, and that's where they get their most money. So in a sense I understand, but also, like, IVF is takes a toll on your body. As a female, I would have to do appointments, injections every day, stuff like that. So we wanted to cover our bases to make sure we didn't just jump right into it. So after we left there, we kind of talked about it, and since then we've just kind of accepted the fact, like, hey, there are 3 things that are probably causing Nick to not produce semen, which could be there's a blockage. It could be, she said it was genetic, right? It could be genetic, or you're just born that way. Or if you're a cystic fibrosis carrier, you don't always produce semen, or you struggle. So those are our 3 things. So regardless, it's gonna, like, take work. But our next issue is money, guys. Infertility costs so much money. Like, for just a consultation, it costs like $600-800. Insurance doesn't cover, like, anything, and you cannot go to appointment until you pay up front. They don't do payment plans, nothing. So if we did IVF, we have, what, 80 grand sitting in our account. Like, who has that kind of money? Like, you just don't. So that's where we come in, and we're not the type of people to just have, like, GoFundMes or anything like that. So we thought about applying for grants or doing fundraisers or something like that. But it's a very sticky situation, and it kind of sucks. So that leads me to our options right now are, like I said, IVF or regular adoption. So that's kind of where we're at. And adoption is even more frustrating than infertility, because in Nebraska, you have to be married for so many years. You have to have certain kind of insurances and life insurances, and I can't get approved for life insurance because of my history with, like, medications already, so that sucks. And then also they look at your income. You have to make a certain amount of money, which I think is just stupid. So we gotta call and see what we can do for our next step for IVF now that we've taken, like, almost a year off of not doing anything, right? It's been like a year. We haven't been to any appointments in, like, a year because we've been trying to...
Probably like 10 months.
10 months.
I think it was August and September.
We were just trying to collect ourselves again. Like, it's hard. We've been trying to do, like, more things together, like go on more dates and stuff and spend time with each other, because it can become a hassle. And so that's just kind of where we're at right now. And we've publicly announced on Facebook to a lot of people, so a lot of people know what we're going through now. It wasn't more so sympathy, but just because no one talks about it, and a lot of people should be educated on it, and it's really popular. Like when me and Nick started talking about it, like when people were like, why don't you have kids yet, like you've been married for 2+ years, like, oh, we're having infertility issues. People
weekend at the bar.
People are like, oh, like my sister has that, or my cousin, or we're struggling with the same thing too. And it's so many people have it, and it's so sad that people don't talk about it, because to be silent about it just sucks, because people don't know what you're going through.
Killer.